Obsession is easily one of the best horror movies that I've seen. It's just a good movie. I was a fan of Curry Barker before the movie dropped, but what can I say? Even with my bias set aside, it's top tier. I feel like the numbers and the general consensus proves this. You know, it's not the greatest movie ever made, but it's pretty up there. Make no mistake, it's effective. However, it's led to a lot of discourse, and famously, movie reviewers online can be pretty hit or miss. At best, you can expect them to more or less just kind of echo the sentiment that everyone else has, the agreed upon sentiment, and to do it, if you're lucky, in a somewhat creative way. And then you've got the movie reviewers who have such bad takes, or have such a bad take, that it goes down in the ledger of internet memory. And they will forever be known as the movie reviewer who had the bad take on insert movie that everyone saw. And that's what happened to a YouTuber named Alex Myers. I hate that we share a name, but Alex Myers is a movie reviewer, and all I can say is, looking at his, avatar, I cannot stand his art style. I like, his avatar has always had a very punchable face to me, so to find out that he had a really bad take about Obsession, one in which supposedly he defends Bear, it was like, oh man. Finally, the guy I didn't like because he was a bit annoying has done something that justifies hate. In all seriousness, though, the response to the video was overwhelming. People actually wanted me to cover the original video and respond to it because they thought my takes on Obsession in the past had been so good, so well thought out. But I wasn't fast enough. Alex Myers was shamed into taking the video down, but what I can do is the next best thing. I got a video here about the drama and everything that led up to Alex Myers taking down the original video. And maybe we'll even get some clips of the original takes. So I thought we'd go ahead and dive right in, shall we? This was a popular request from the Discord.
So a YouTuber named Alex Myers, who's known for reviewing a variety of TV shows and movies, has gotten himself into...
Every time I saw this dude's stuff pop up on my recommended, I would cringe and I would scroll past it. I just could not stand this dude's brand. I don't know what it is about it. I don't like it.
Controversy recently when he decided to review the beloved indie film Obsession, and instead of merely summarizing the movie in a comedic fashion like he does with most of his other videos, Alex decided to also provide a nuanced take when analyzing the protagonist slash villain of the movie, Bear. And based on how the video was received by viewers, it didn't go so well. Choosing to defend Bear is a weird hill to die on. Honestly, bro, I can't believe anyone can watch this movie and end up thinking Bear is the victim. I like how you made an entire video about how the rapist is actually a misunderstood nice guy with no game just like you. Damn. Alex noticed the backlash and decided to leave a pinned comment stating,
"You know what's really crazy as well? When you rewatch Obsession, it hits you much harder how weird Bear is. When you watch it the first time, going in totally blind, like I did, for the first 30 minutes of the movie maybe, Bear comes off as a relatively normal, shy dude archetype. And while he does come off as a loser, for sure, you would call him a loser in a heartbeat if you knew him in real life, he doesn't do anything overtly, evidently bad right out the gate. Right? And all of his red flags, as you would come to find them to be in hindsight, could easily just be the product of a guy at his lowest. For multiple reasons he's at his lowest, right? And then you see the monster he really is, that he always was in reality. And then you go back and you rewatch the movie, and you realize how much of the seemingly mundane features or aspects of Bear, or things that just didn't really seem relevant to Bear at all, you couldn't pull anything about Bear's personality from them, are really telling, right? After watching the movie and then rewatching it, the scene where Bear is in bed doom scrolling Nikki's social media, that rings totally different than the first watch. In the first watch, you're like, oh, he's got a crush on her, he's stalking her social media a little bit. On the second watch, when you know what he's willing to do to ensure that he has her, when you know how desperate and deep his obsession goes, that scene has a totally different context. And it's a massive red flag that was right out in the open. And I imagine some or many, picked up on these red flags in their first watch and immediately picked up that Bear was a weirdo. But, for me, it took rewatching it to see, the red flags were always there from the get-go. And that Bear isn't someone who gets corrupted into a villain. He's the kind of guy who has never had his villainous aspects teased out until given the power over Nikki that he gets on accident. But once he has that power, his true character comes through. But it always was peeking through a little.
Unfortunately, some of you are doing the very thing I talked about in the video. You're only seeing and hearing what you...
I picked up on it when he was crying over her, not his cat. Well, the cat dying and everything around that is really what's in my head right now. That gets recontextualized rewatching it, right? I mean, even on the first watch, it's a little weird, but especially on rewatch, it's totally like a red flag. So the big one is, Bear was 100% responsible for his cat's death. Through negligence, most likely. Just, he's self-medicating with his dead grandma's sleeping pills so he can sleep. So he probably irresponsibly left the pills open on the counter or didn't screw the cap all the way on. And then the cat knocked over the pills, probably trying to get to the cat food because that was also spilled, and accidentally ate up some of the pills along with the food. But when Bear sees this, he asks, "How did you get into these?" Out loud, he asks this. Like he asks the room or himself, or is almost performatively to himself, pretending as if it is a crazy freak accident that could never have been predicted, that his cat got into the pills and died. And then, he's crying at first over the cat, and then you see him doom scrolling depressed in bed over Nikki's account, and you're like, okay, well, maybe he's just trying to focus on the girl he likes because it's a positive thought that is distracting him from the negative of his cat dying. But then you rewatch it and it's like, oh, he got over his cat quick. This is what he actually does when he's at home all day before and after the death of his cat. It's laying in bed in the dark, scrolling Nikki's social media. You realize that the cat dying did not make him like that. That's just how quickly he got over it.
Want out of my video. Instead of actually listening to what I am saying, as I say multiple times in the video, Bear is bad. He does bad things. He is a villain. My video was in reaction to people saying that he is some kind of evil incel from the beginning. I wanted to look at how he goes.
Well, he was. Like his actions were not that of an evil incel from the beginning, but his character shone through. That's the point. He was given power, and the power didn't corrupt him. The power revealed who he truly was. And I'm not talking about the power to make the wish. I'm talking about the power that the wish gave him over Nikki.
From just a normal dude into the villain. I say in the video that after he realizes the wish worked, he goes on to be the bad guy and gets worse and worse. I didn't feel the need to show every single instance of him being bad because they are all covered by the statement itself. I literally say that he is bad multiple times. I'm not defending Bear, but some of you are literally only hearing what you want to hear and not hearing the actual words I say in the video. I wanted to look at how he goes.
I'm gonna come.
Obsession is why you don't give incels magic.
True. Unironically, just facts.
Goes from a normal, kind of depressed loser guy into the villain, and not that he is a villain from the beginning. After Alex tries to explain himself with a top comment, he then decided to make a 5-minute response video addressing the backlash, and when that failed,
That has also been taken down. Because I checked his channel, no such video was there.
Alex removed both videos and left a community post saying, "I have taken down both videos relating to obsession. I am sorry to those who were hurt by them. I will be..."
Yeah, a big factor here that makes this so radioactive for having a hot take is that unlike most villains in media, Bear is a rapist. Bear commits the act of rape on screen. So it is a really radioactive character to try to steelman or devil's advocate for, even if he's fictional. Because the type of villain he is the kind of villain Like, the kind of villain he is a very real kind of villain. And you just, yeah, it's a bad look. You know what I mean?
More mindful of my words and jokes in the future. This is hilarious to me because Alex starts his Obsession review by essentially saying his take is going to be Uber based and he don't give a frick if that upsets you, only for him to then private the video to
They always say that, don't they?
put it bluntly for movie review watchers. Alex
I don't give a shit if I get canceled. I'm here to offend people. The famous last words of a man right before he gets canceled and then whines about getting canceled.
Meyer's review of Obsession is essentially his version of Doug Walker's review of The Wall here.
This is why there's always that one legendary bad review. Every movie reviewer guy has got one, I feel like.
You have two film critics that thought they could provide an unpopular take for a beloved movie just for the sake of being a contrarian, and really all the review does is just demonstrate a lack of media.
As much as I like her, and I think people getting mad about it was cringe anyway, it's been cemented in history that, like, Jenny Nicholson's bad movie review was Joker. That her I didn't like Joker video became a meme, and, like, the right hates it.
Literacy, but at least Doug kept his review of Pink Floyd's The Wall public. Gotta give him credit there. And now, after watching Alex's review of Obsession in its entirety, it does become apparent that he is right in the sense that some of the top commentators didn't even watch the video for themselves and just assumed the
I wish I
worst
could've.
based on what other people were saying. Like, here we have someone commenting, "It shocks me that there's a debate out there on who the villain was," when that was never the conversation. Everyone, including
Now, to be fair, this is just common on YouTube, where, like, people will just click on a video that's about a topic they're interested in, not even really watch the video and just, like, comment, or even just engage with the comments on the topic. Like they use the video as, like, a chat room with other commenters about that topic that they're interested in. And the creators are all too happy to facilitate that because, you know, it's an engagement boost. So, like, that there is that. That's probably a big factor in it, too.
Alex acknowledges Bear as the villain.
Ultimately, Bear is the bad guy. Like, this is a bad dude. Yes, absolutely. Nikki is completely innocent. Her life is forever ruined because of some depressed, selfish loser guy, okay? Yes, like that's the outcome of the movie.
That said, Alex's analysis of the movie Obsession and the character Bear is still utter horseshit, and we're gonna look at why, along with his response to the backlash. Alright, let's start. So, Alex starts his review by simply narrating over key plot points while making jokes, which is pretty typical for his other videos. But then it enters bad take territory after he covers the scene where Bear makes his wish.
So as you can see, Nikki's starting to act a little out of character. She's saying things that don't make sense. She also demands to go over to his house to spend the night.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And you know, to Bear's credit, he's not immediately jumping at the chance to take advantage of her or whatever. Like, he gives her privacy and space. He doesn't want to make it weird. He turns around when she takes her shirt off. And like, based on what people were saying about this movie online, I expected Bear to be this like horror.
I mean, on first watch, that's what it looks like, right? When you watch it the first time, it's like, oh, okay, Bear is... Even though Bear has exactly what he wants, effectively, and he doesn't know the wish worked, he's still like, are you sure you want me to be in the bed with you? I'll look away. You know, like, he's being that sort of shy, respectful guy, it looks like, on your first watch, or at least it did to me on my first watch. But then, as the movie develops, come to realize Bear doesn't care about Nikki's consent. Bear doesn't care about Nikki's comfort or what Nikki wants. The only reason he asked those things, it was all performative. Nikki was there in the room with him. It's not like he was in a room alone exercising some action that indicates how much he cares about Nikki's consent. He was performing caring about Nikki's consent in that scene. Because all of his actions, when he actually is in a situation where, like, he knows she can't consent or doesn't consent, and whether or not anything happens further is in his hands, he still abuses that power. And he rapes her, presumably many times. Not just, like, a couple times, like what we see in the movie, but, like there's a whole, like, extended sequence where they were together for weeks, months. So it probably happened dozens of times. Dozens of times, probably. And that proves to me that Bear never actually cared about her consent or comfort in those moments. It was performative, and it was him trying not to fuck up in the final stretch, so to speak. Because remember, at the time, he doesn't know the wish works. He thinks that she might legitimately be down to hook up in that moment, but that doesn't mean he was genuine.
Angry, misogynistic incel dude, right? But like up until this point, he's just some super socially awkward loser who has a crush on a girl, and he uses a $7 wishing toy that he assumes is not going to work. And then when Nikki starts acting like this, he's very confused and put off by it.
So one of the main complaints people had with Alex's review is when he states, to Bear's credit, he doesn't take advantage of Nikki, insinuating Alex believes not taking advantage of someone sexually who is clearly
It's pretty sus. It's pretty sus.
in distress is the bare minimum. Do I think Alex genuinely believes Bear is going above and beyond and by not automatically sleeping with Nikki? Or
it's badly worded. The way he should have worded it, if he didn't want to come off as sounding like that, would have been something like, what he should have said was, even though he didn't know the wish worked, there is no credit really to give him. Because, like, he doesn't know the wish worked. He doesn't know he has the power to do whatever he wants to, or whether or not the real Nikki consents. So he's not actually exercising any moral act of good. He's just being morally neutral, just not overtly creeping on her in that moment. So yeah, there's really no way to word that point where it isn't at least wrong. Like, it's not even correct. It's not like a moment where Bear demonstrates any moral character at all, because he doesn't know that he is engaging in restraint of some kind, or like not doing a bad thing. He doesn't know that he has the opportunity to do the bad thing.
that men do women a favor by not taking advantage of them? No. Obviously, this was just a poor choice of words that Alex didn't think too much about while writing his script. That said, Alex trying to understand why people don't like Bear in the beginning of the movie, it just shows that he doesn't fully understand this movie as a whole.
I'm not saying Bear is a blameless, innocent victim, okay? But I think some of you are a little too quick to attach motivation and subtext to this character that is not based on the movie. Like, it really seems...
Okay. I think what he's misunderstanding is the fact that, you can watch a movie a second time, knowing what the character does, all the way up to the end, literally the end of that character, and you know what their true nature is, right? Like at the very end of the movie, we see what Bear's true nature is. He's a loser, and he's a coward. He is such a fucking coward. Oh my god. You all remember what he does before Nikki breaks her stick, right? Before Nikki breaks the wishing willow stick and wishes for Bear to love her more than anything in the world. Fake Nikki, the wish Nikki, wishes for Bear to love her back more than anything in the world. You know what Bear was doing, right? He took the pills and was about to let himself die and then chose to throw them up. He pussied out, and it was only because Nikki made the wish that he stopped trying to throw up the pills and walked out and then proceeded to OD on them. So Bear proves himself a coward with his last act. The last act Bear ever does on screen in the movie is an act of cowardice. He pussies out of killing himself to free Nikki. So when you know down to the wire what kind of man Bear is, it recontextualizes all of his past behavior when you watch the movie again. And that's what really, it feels like he should have rewatched the movie. If he did and he didn't come out of it with that impression, that's really weird. But what it really feels like is he didn't rewatch the movie and didn't get that experience of knowing how bad Bear reveals himself to be and then seeing all of his actions as clues of that when you watch it a second time. Truth nuke, yeah.
Seems like some of you want him to be a horrible, incel, intentionally malicious guy, regardless of what actually happens in the movie. Okay, see, this is my point. Like, given the circumstances, Bear's being pretty normal about this, okay? Given what he does and does not know by this point in the movie, like, he could have slept with her, or he could have taken some kind of advantage of her, but he was rather gentlemanly at the time.
It's definitely understandable for viewers to sympathize with Bear before he makes the wish, considering...
You know what Alex Myers has a problem with? So there's a skill, I don't even know if there's a name for this, for what this is. I have like an intuitive understanding of this being a necessity to be able to understand media. You ever like see those posts from people? It's now become a meme, but it's the "are they stupid" like meme format, where someone asks, why did blank character do blank? Are they dumb? Are they stupid? And originally these posts, like that format, was posted unironically. Like, people would just say that, and it became like a meme because of how often people who just did not know how to consume media would question why characters did things on social media to other people that watched it, and everyone else would be like, did you even watch it? Like, why are you confused? And what it stems to is, for some reason, a lot of people watch a movie or they watch a show and they are unable to understand what characters know what or don't know what, right? Like, they go into a movie knowing the premise of the movie, and they almost operate and judge the characters as though the characters should know what they know, or that every character should have roughly the same amount of knowledge about any number of given things. It's weird. It's like, I don't even know what this is called. Like, the ability to have the intelligence to just intuit what characters should know, or why characters would do one thing or the other, and why it makes sense. Because in the case of Bear, when you know that he doesn't know about the wish, his not acting upon the wish doesn't mean anything for Bear. He doesn't know that the wish happened. Just because we know she's under his spell doesn't mean that he knows that, and it doesn't mean that him not taking advantage of her is some kind of act of moral good. He doesn't know that she's under a spell. I don't know how else to put this.
That's the narrative clearly being pushed. Bear is shown to be insecure and lacks confidence, which is done to paint him as seemingly innocent. The movie begins revealing in pieces that Bear's cowardice is more sinister than what we as an audience were led to believe within the first act. And upon reflection, after seeing Bear's true nature, it becomes apparent that his innocent personality is nothing but a cover. Bear isn't a character that just transforms from innocent to sinister. The movie makes it very clear that he was always selfish and obsessive. Bear didn't take advantage of Nikki out of the kindness of his heart, but because he was simply too cowardly to do anything with her. Only until Nikki is the one who
Holy truth nuke. Holy based. Holy based. Diesel Patches understands the movie. I'm pretty sure he even, worded many of those analyses in the same way I did. Like, Bear showing his true nature, I think that's the exact way I worded it.
Engages with him does he enact on his lust for her, despite believing she's in distress, showing that he actually doesn't care for her well-being, and simply just wants to have her for himself. The opportunity.
Remember, by the end of the movie, she's, literally falling apart. Like, she's degrading in front of him, unable to take care of herself, and Bear does not really care about her well-being or her health or her safety all that much. He uses her once he realizes that she has no power to have any say in anything. He basically treats her, I mean, probably worse than he treated the cat, you know? Like, once you know that's how he really feels about her, you can't argue that he was actually a good guy or just a shy dude in the beginning.
Opportunity presented to him comes with ignoring Nikki's well-being, yet he continues to pursue anyways. There are many examples throughout the second and third acts of obsession that reveal Bear's true nature, such as attempting to off himself to escape responsibility and raping her, despite discovering the authentic.
I'd actually argue the attempting to off himself isn't the cowardly act. He finds out that killing himself is the way to free her. Those moments are you could argue the only reason he considered doing it was to flee the situation and to be a coward. But I wouldn't necessarily consider, that's the moment where you're do it, Bear, do it. Let her free of this. Finally free her. Yes, kill yourself, bro. And then he doesn't. It is when he pussies out of killing himself is when I call him a coward. It's when I'm the only thing that Bear could have had, the closest thing to redemption Bear could have had, was to kill himself and to free her. Honestly, the movie very much could have been one in which Bear was not the villain if he hadn't done three things. If he hadn't raped her, if he hadn't, and if he did kill himself in the end, and if he hadn't gone to Sarah to try and hook up with her. If he hadn't done those 3 things, I feel like most people come out of the movie thinking Bear is fine. It's the rape, it's the cheating on Nikki, and then the like, I already forgot my third point, sorry. Anyway, yeah, like, there's really 3 big things that Bear could have just done differently or not done in the movie, and people would feel totally different about him. It's
Authenticity of the wish. All these examples just reinforce how Bear actually was within the first act. By the way, within this video, attempting to paint Bear in a more positive light, Alex chooses to omit every example I've just provided, and while some have argued that his movie review is for people who have already seen the movie, leaving out these specific scenes only reinforces everyone's assumption.
I don't know, man. Like, it really feels like in this era, movie reviews are for people who haven't seen the movie now. Am I the only one who gets that vibe? Like, movie and game reviews are being used as a substitute for the original media, especially because in the current culture war, in the current, like, social climate, everyone's expected to have an opinion on every popular piece of media. Like you can't just, no one wants to be the person who says, oh, I haven't seen it, I don't know, I don't have any opinion on it. No one wants to be that guy. Everyone wants to be, oh, this thing's popular and I haven't seen it? Yeah, it sucks. It sucks shit. It sucks garbage. Like, one of my biggest examples of character development was like 5 years ago. I would be like, yeah, Amazing Digital Circus is stupid. It fucking sucks. It sucks shit. Just because I haven't seen it, and it doesn't interest me that much. Like, my opinion on it I would be like performatively negative about it, just to feel special, and I feel like a lot of people are like that. Meanwhile, nowadays, I'm just like, yeah, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's good. It, like, on the surface, it doesn't super appeal to me, but I'm willing to give it a try. Yeah, and I feel like that's the kind of character development I hope a lot more people have, but, like, it feels like so many movie reviews and game reviews are meant to be a substitute for people who don't want to watch the original media, but want to know enough about it to sound like they did, and to be able to ape points they can use to, like, sound like they have their own opinion on the movie, or the game, or the show, or whatever it may be.
That Alex is attempting to make Bear look more innocent. If your goal is to play devil's advocate, you still need to provide the entire context. Making excuses like your video was too long and doesn't make any sense. There were a handful of jokes you definitely could have cut out, and we would all be fine with it.
Like, are you all equally upset about the Disney Channel original movie Zapped or 16 Wishes? Because fundamentally, these are all the same movie. Like, remember Descendants 1, Mal cast a spell that made Ben fall in love with her? Where's all the Reddit threads about that?
Yeah, comparing Obsession, a movie that actually explores deeper topics, to mindless little kid Disney movies seems incredibly disingenuous, but I guess I'll play this game. To my surprise, there are...
Yeah, Obsession has an on-screen rape. It's very not comparable.
There are actually multiple Reddit threads from fans of Descendant claiming it's creepy for how the movie portrays forceful love, so it would seem even the little kid Disney Descendant fanbase acknowledges that your argument is fucking stupid.
Like, this is a bad dude. Yes, absolutely. Nikki is completely innocent. Her life is forever ruined because of some depressed, selfish loser guy, okay? Yes, like that's the outcome of the movie. But how we get to that point, I think, is a lot more nuanced than a lot of you were giving the movie credit for.
If you're going out of your way to argue that Bear isn't as bad as people claim he is, you can't have an honest discussion about Bear's morality when you choose to exclude certain scenes that show Bear at his absolute worst. One of the more subtle implications of Bear's true nature is the scene of...
Genuinely, like, I would challenge anybody who's a Bear defender to this. Name one positive trait Bear has. Name one. Is he creative? Is he artistic? The movie goes out of its way to emphasize he has one single skill, and it's that he might be all right at piano. Because occasionally the music store owner, Sarah's dad, has him, like, play the instruments, or, like, the piano specifically, at the shop for, like, visitors or, like, customers to see it works and it's good. So he might have some music talent, though we never actually see him exercising it outside of work and, like, doing what his boss tells him. So he has no passion for music. At least we don't see him playing any or listening to any. He's like not really talkative. He's not friendly with people. I don't think he compliments anybody outside of Nikki and Sarah when he's actively trying to get into their pants. He's not brave. He's not honorable. He's not honest. He doesn't, like, he's not like a super good friend. Like he doesn't like value his friends. So like he has no positive traits. Bear genuinely has no positive traits at all other than man. And thus young dudes see Bear and they're like, "Oh, I relate to him because he's a young guy who has trouble with women." And that's the only thing that is like a, yeah, I'm rooting for this guy, like, aspect of Bear's personality. But other than that, when you really think about the kind of character Bear is, you realize he was deliberately written to have zero positive traits, to have nothing about him that is compelling or makes you actually want to root for him. This is why women so quickly in the movie are able to recognize that Bear is a loser compared to men. And it's because for men, you're blinded by the fact that, like, on the most basic levels, the movie psychologically tricks you into thinking you have any reason to sympathize with Bear for the first 15-20 minutes. But you think about it, and it's like, wait a second, the movie never did give me a reason to give a fuck about Bear, or to think he's a good person, or to root for him, or to think he's worthy of happiness. Like, he has no... Like, and he could, with very little effort, be a better person, but he doesn't ever put in that effort.
Of him attempting to tweak or modify his wish so he can still enjoy being with Nikki for his benefit, as opposed to having the wish completely terminated for her benefit. He knows she's suffering, but his priority is to keep her.
I mean, at least literal bears are predictable and will fuck you if you tell them not to. Or will fuck off if you tell them to. Yeah, so, you know what's funny? Bear's name, I'm almost certain, was intentional, because bears are, like, they look cute and cuddly, but they're also the world's most dangerous predator. And they're the most persistent predator on Earth, too. Bears track their prey for, like, dozens of miles. You know, like, polar bears will track their prey for, like, hundreds of miles until it dies or until it's asleep or vulnerable, and then they'll go in for the kill. And they'll stalk their prey for months or even years before they close in for the kill. And so Bear is not a... The director has openly said it wasn't. Oh, it wasn't intentional? That I get, because it's a nickname for Baron, but dude, it's kind of insane how perfectly that works, right? Like that bears are also, like, their predatory nature as an animal is very similar to Bear's predatory nature as a predator.
All to himself. And when reflecting back on the first act, you understand that these character traits from Bear always existed but were more hidden.
Now, just to be clear, I'm not defending all of Bear's actions, okay? Because at this point in the movie, he knows the wish worked, and he knows the real Nikki's soul is, like, trapped or whatever, but he keeps on dating her and tries to, like, continue on as if this isn't the most horrible situation anyone could imagine. Although, to be fair, what is he supposed to do? Because if he breaks up with her, she's gonna hunt him down. And the only other choice, as we learn, is that the spell will break if he dies.
Right here, Alex argues that Bear didn't have any options to cancel the wish, so he shouldn't receive any flack for not trying, which is not what the movie wanted to portray. It's very within Bear's character to be so passive and cowardly that he doesn't even attempt to fix the wish.
That's the thing. I don't even know if Bear needs to kill himself. Like, once he finds out like, okay, let's assume Bear does nothing immoral after making the wish. He finds out it's real. And then we get the car scene. Immediately after, we get the scene where he's in the car on the phone, and he calls up the number on the One Wish Willow, right? Like, he isn't dating Nikki, he hasn't raped her, he hasn't, like, abused her in any way, and he hasn't done any of these other awful things, right? We just go straight from, he looks online, it goes straight from he realizes the wish worked to he's in the car calling up the number, right? And if instead of asking, can I alter the wish so that she's more normal, if instead the first thing he asked was, I need to cancel a wish. If immediately after he found out the wish was enslaving her, he called and the first thing he asked was, how do I free her from the wish? And then he found out you either stay with her and take care of her, because you have a moral responsibility to do so, as the guy over the phone says, Curry Barker actually over the phone says, and or kill yourself. In that scenario, does Bear need to kill himself to be morally good? I don't necessarily think so. I think there's a scenario where you could say that, like, Bear essentially becomes, like, Wish Nikki's caretaker and is just kind of there so she doesn't rip herself apart obsessing over him, and takes the responsibility of he got her into this mess and now he needs to get her out. Now, if even after all of that, when Nikki's asleep, she's like, kill me, Bear, kill me. At that point, then Bear's got to kill himself. at that point. Like if even after doing the only other moral option besides suicide to free her, if that doesn't work, like if she's still like suffering in that scenario and isn't like cool with it, I guess, then yeah, Bear's gotta, at that point, it's a bit of a Greek tragedy, I suppose. You know, Bear would have to accept his fate right then and there, I suppose. That would be the only way I could really argue he would be defensible. But he doesn't do any of those things. He does the worst possible thing at every turn. So I don't know why we would even consider making a video that tries to that tries to devil's advocate for Bear.
Only when Nikki's craziness became too much of an inconvenience for him does Bear actually try to undo the entire wish. You can't argue his cowardice is just innocent folly when there are ramifications for his actions, along with the reveal of Bear's true colors that his desire to be in a relationship with Nikki comes at the cost of her own free will. Yet he's willing to make that sacrifice because it's about what he wants. But
he values owning her way more than he values her consent.
those are my gripes with this movie review. It just completely misses the point. Anyways, after Alex's failed attempt to explain himself in a pinned comment, he decided to continue this discourse despite getting absolutely nowhere with anyone. On Alex's now privated Instagram, he posted on a story, "It's interesting to me that some people are so upset about my video trying to fairly examine Bear when there are hundreds of true crime podcasts that do the same thing to real life and serial killers, and women love those podcasts." Listen, I don't watch that shit, but as someone who doesn't know what you're talking,
like, I have never seen a true crime podcast that positively frames rapists or serial killers. Like, what, there is this weird, this is very much a right-wing talking point. So like, okay, there are some women and men who are into consensual non-consent kink. Right? Like, that is a fantasy they have, or a fetish that they have, is they don't want the real thing, because the real thing is rape, and is characterized by not wanting it, right? But the aesthetics of that are a kink they like, right? I don't yuck people's kinks unless it directly hurts people, so, or exploits people, or takes part in said hurting or exploitation. But it's not exactly, I don't know, a non-taboo kink, to say the least. But it's not, like, nonetheless, right? Like, it's relatively common. And you'll see it represented in some media, like, or like 50 Shades of Grey is kind of in that realm a little bit, I guess. But, like, stuff like that, like those sort of smut novels you'll see on the shelves of, like, grocery stores, that women mostly read. Like, a lot of them will have consensual non-consent stuff in them. A lot of them don't. But guys, right-wing guys, anti-feminist incel types, have, like, turned it into a meme that women just spend all day reading erotica novels about sexual assault and, like, gooning to it, while getting up in arms about real-life rape, as if they don't goon to fictional rape, right? And they see it as some, like, really strong gotcha, calling out the female hypocrisy. And you can see a little taste of that point right there, where he's like, why do these women love their erotica novels and their true crime podcasts where they glorify serial killers? And what he's doing is he's, like, making a massive overgeneralization of, like, a select group of women who would try to rizz up and would send love letters to serial killers in prison. It's like, yeah, those women are crazy, and we as a culture have made fun of them in, like, all media for as long as they have existed, right? Like, it's like claiming that like flat earthers represent any broader group of people, like women, men, or any minority group or something. It's like, no, it's just a very rare fringe group of dumb people.
talking about, it would be nice to
Or
have
not even dumb people, but of, like, odd people, you know?
some sort of reference. Like, you misinterpreted a movie. Is there a true crime podcast that talks about serial killers and tries to argue they're not that bad while not understanding their actual story? Shockingly, the
I've never
damage
seen
control Instagram post didn't work. Maybe a 5-minute response video semi-apologizing will do the trick. So, you know how the main issues people had with Alex's video were mostly about how he didn't understand the basic fundamentals of obsession, omitting context, and giving the character Bear too much grace for no reason? Well, instead of admitting he didn't do his research, Alex decided to double down on his opinions, along with pulling the old "I'm sorry you felt that way." Genius.
So first of all, I'm sorry if I worded my video in a way that made it sound like I am defending or pro in some way. That is very much not the intention of the video. The video was not meant to be a defense of Bear. I think I say that in the video. It is sort of an objective observation of how he gets from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
No, it's kind of obvious you wanted to have some sort of contrarian spin to your review so it stands out from the others.
And that's also why he opened the video with his, like, I'm gonna be based and I don't care if you get offended.
Your opening for your original review, it just screams,
I'm the based guy, and my opinion's gonna offend some of you.
I am not a racist. I do not condone rape. I do respect women. I do not think women deserve to be raped.
You know it's bad. You know it's gotten real bad when you have to do a disclaimer like that in your apology video. Zan pre-watched confirmed. How did I pre-watch? Oh my god. How has it gotten this bad that you have to say this? Like, just imagine that out of context, and it's like, oh my god. What happened that he got to this point?
I do respect women. I do not think women deserve to be raped.
You know that what he did was bad when he has to say that in the apology video. Oh no. Anyway, folks, I always love a good excuse to talk about obsession. It was a good one. If you enjoyed, then comment down below One Wish Willow to let me know that you watched all the way to the end. And of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can see more from me in the future. But as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.